Okay, let's see if this works this time, because I've tried setting up a bunch of different things, so we'll see if this actually functions properly the way it's supposed to, because I've been trying to mess around with a lot of my settings, and hopefully I've got everything fixed and functioning this time. Streaming is definitely not something I'm used to doing, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Also, the lovely artwork that you see on stream was done by TB Art, and they did an absolutely amazing job detailing my lovely Neff girl. The avatar, however, I did myself, so it's super cool and fancy, and it's a mermaid, so it's even better. Couldn't remember which keybind. I'm still... There we go. I'm like trying to memorize what my keybinds are to make this thing work. Hi, how you doing? Alrighty, now it looks like we've got everybody in here, so I can start working on what I'm actually going to be doing today, which is going to be texturing this model. I do also see that I need to temporarily fix a thing, so excuse me while my VC face pops up on screen. There we go. Fixed it. I noticed I was slightly off center, so we're good. Okie dokie, let's see. I think the first thing I need to do is I need to get my normals set up, so I'm gonna start by just doing that. Let's do... let me double check, because I think he's fluffy, is he not? Let me open my ref. I have the ref on screen, so you guys can actually see what I'm doing this time. Does not look inherently fluffy, so I think he might be scaled, but the rest of his ref information looks like he's got floof on him, so we're gonna put the floof on. And then we're gonna wait for my computer to absolutely chug, because it always does. When making models, generally you're gonna use Blender. Blender is what I use to modify the avatar that you see in Substance Painter, as well as my avatar on screen. Oh my god, why does this smart material always lag so bad when I import it? Substance, please! You're making a dino mask? Cool. And yes, Blender is indeed free. You can download it from Steam or directly from the website. Come on, Stinky. Load my material, please. Oh my god. Substance, please. Substance is having a hard time right now. This is why I usually prefer to hand paint my normals. Come on. There you go. See, was that necessary? Doo-doo. Alright, next question. Where the hell did my model go? Okay, so he's there, but he's not there. Oh, there he is. Okay. I see what I did. I accidentally just temporarily toggled him off. Okay. How's stream doing? Are we chugging? Yeah, we're definitely chugging a little bit. I knew it was going to, though. Okay. I think it's mostly settled down. Whenever I import the fur brush, it always does this. It's just... it's such a beefy material that it always causes problems. But that's okay. We can make do. And let me hide the other biddies as well to kind of save on some rendering space. Now it's gonna get angry at me as I reload it. There we go. Come on, you can do it. My lord, I need to upgrade and get a better GPU, because this is getting ridiculous. Now we gotta wait 20 years for the dang thing to load. Please be very cautious when using cardboard because it is very prone to capturing moisture and growing mold, and that can make you extremely sick if you inhale those mold fibers. Well, to get the kind of GPU that I would probably need to save up a significant amount of money, so it's definitely something for the future. Okay. I think it's mostly chugging along better now. I can see my bitrate is just struggling, though. I might not be able to do this if it's chugging this bad. There's not much else I can disable either to kind of save on CPU. I know I need to upgrade my power supply too. That's like one of my biggest things that's on my, like, upgrade this thing list. Well, just because you use Mod Podge to seal it does not mean it's safe. That's like saying, oh, you know, I ate some sawdust, but don't worry, I made sure that I cleaned it first. Like, it really doesn't matter what you do. It is still a risk, and that's the best advice that I can really give you regarding that. Okay, let's see. I need to turn on dynamic stroke, and I also didn't turn on follow path. Fix that. There we go. Let's see. Hair fibers. Let's increase the detail frequency, then decrease the width, and my sidebar is slightly cut off. There we go. I want these to be much shorter. Oof. PC chugging hard. I don't think this is going to be possible for me to paint on stream. It's weird. I can render Blender just fine, but when I try to paint anything in Substance, it is just not having it. I'm doing pretty swell. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to paint this on stream. It's just chugging way too hard on my end, but that's okay. I have a backup plan. Okay, let's turn this off right here. I do indeed remember you. You don't need to ping me every time, like I can see chat. Thank you though, but yes. Okay, let's see. instead of that, we are going to boot Fire Alpaca. And I am going to do a doodle. Let's see, who was on my list? Where's that file? Did I put it over here? Yes, I did. References. And we want this one. Of course, granted, my thing is blocking it, but that's okay. Okay. Since Substance didn't really work because my PC just can't seem to handle it right now, that is okie dokie. So instead, I am going to work on an Artfight doodle. Because I am super behind on my Artfight doodles right now. I need to follow my action line a little bit better, I think. More like this. There we go, that looks better. Closer to where it should have been for the pelvis and everything. Make it a little smaller so I have more room. No, Artfight is totally free. It's an event that goes on every July of every year, and it's super cool because it's basically just 2 teams of artists from all over the world, and you earn team points by drawing the enemy team's characters, which is really, really fun, and it gives you the opportunity to draw other characters from artists that you may look up to, or just find random characters that you think look really cool and challenge yourself as an artist to draw something more unique. So it's lots of fun. Oh, it could be anything. Like, you earn a certain number of points depending on the level of detail that you put into everything. So, for example, I have drawn before something like just a sketchy headshot, which I can probably show y'all one of them. Let me, put this over here so I can see more clearly. My display's better on my left monitor. Let me find one of them so I can show you. So I drew this little guy because I just wanted to doodle a character, and they were kind of like this raptor creature thing. So I drew that, and just a basic little sketch. I think I got like, I don't know, 14 points for it or something like that. So very simple. The next one I did was a clean sketch full body, and that one I think was like 22 points or something like that. I can't remember. But the more effort and detail you put into something that you do for Artfight, obviously the more points that you're gonna get. So I also did an entire 3D model for an attack, and then textured it, rigged it, did Blender sculpting and stuff, and made it usable in VRChat, and that one got quite a significant amount of points, given the amount of labor that was put into it. So depending on what you do, it affects the kind of labor that you like get out of it. So the more effort and the more polish that you put on your work, obviously the more points you earn. But for me, it's not really about the points. It's about just wanting to draw the characters or make the character in some way or another, just because I think it's fun. And I really enjoy getting to make other characters for people just because I like to do art, and art makes me happy. So that's what I enjoy doing. The whole point of the points is just to basically, like, give your team more points, because then at the end of the month they tally all the points, and it leads out to being Like, which team is going to be the end goal? Which one is going to be the winner because they scored the most points? Also, let me change my song because it is very loud and it's too loud for me. There we go. As I take a swig of my drink. Okay. On to the work-ins we go. I think I might open this character's mouth. I also think I need to make their head a little bit bigger. Excuse you, that's not what I told you to do. That was the headshot for the stream. I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail after this and be like, oopsie, only Artfight. I'm sorry. I'm glad you enjoy my content, but I don't really add people as friends until I've really gotten to know you better. It's just kind of a good rule of thumb. I think we need a little bit more of a torso here. I'm also going to shrink this just a little bit. Toby's right there. Let's see. I don't like the angle of that leg. I think I'm going to change it. Oh. Eraser was way too small. There we go. Also, I have a message on Discord, so let me just check that real quick. Nope, not yet. Okay. I'm going to be catching a friend of mine's stream a little bit later, so I want to kind of keep an eye on the time so that I don't run over. And then I think we'll probably angle this foot more like towards the side of the camera, like this. And then we'll have toe beans like that. So they're like really jumping and flinging. We'll do some spread toe beans down here because I think that'll look fun. I think my proportions are still off a little bit. This front leg is definitely a little funky. This is one of the things I like about doing digital art, is the fact that if something just doesn't quite look right, I can mess around with it and warp it until it looks more so what I'm going for and stays more in line with like the perspective that I'm trying to achieve. my goodness, thank you! That was so generous of you, Dredgen. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that you do, and the fact that you support me on Patreon, and you're always so incredibly generous. Like, you make my brain go, because I don't know what to say. Thank you so very much. I sincerely appreciate it. I do hope that you have a good time, and that hopefully I'll catch you on the next stream as well. And of course, you're always in my Discord too, so hopefully we can chitty chat there too, which is always fun. Oh, today I am drawing a character whose name I can't remember. Let me see. What is their name? I have their name saved in my file. Let me just open it up and see. Tempest is their name. Actually, I think I can probably put their ref on here. Let me just change the ref that I have in my files. Grab this little BB. Oh, it's a small BB. I gotta make it bigger. There we go. That's the BB I'm drawing. I think it's female. I'm fairly positive it's female. But it's a little derg, so, you know. Good little dergs. I'm just trying to get my rough block out sketch right now. Get all my proportions and stuff lined up the way they should be. The good stuff. I think it's an ice wing, but I think it also might be a night wing. So like it's an ice knight. They were a little bit of both. The patterns on Kashika were a combination of hand-sewn markings in addition to a custom patterned fur that I found and then designed her character around. And if you mean the program I'm using, I am using Fire ALPACA, which is a free drawing software, and it works really, really good. I quite enjoy it. You can do great art with simple tools. You just have to invest the time into doing so. Learning how they work, all that fun stuff. Okay, how many fingers you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, and a thumb. Okay. I think I'm actually gonna shrink this a little bit more because I really want to have a fun wing pose here. Okay, so this will come up. We'll get a thumb here, and then we're gonna get a wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the third one will be 1, 2, and 3. There's sails on the wingies. And it looks like we have a wing that comes in and then down. And then it connects over here. Another one there. That one's gonna wrap around like that. This one will go right here. And just so I know that this is an overlay portion, I'm going to make sure I cross-hatch it. And they do have little fingers with claws. Okay, second wing will go here. Here's our arm. Hand with thumb, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. big. Need to shrink. Doesn't fit. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. There's this one. I've practiced drawing dragons a very, very long time, so it's just kind of like second nature at this point for how to draw them. They're basically just really big hands with really long fingers. That's all the wing really is. That's pretty close to what I want for the pose. I think it looks fun. It's zany looking. It's good. Okay, call this the under sketch. Turn it down, and then we do the over sketch for more detail. So let me zoom in on the little snoot here. Because Nightwings definitely have that, like, particular kind of beaky face. I also need to push it back a little bit. I went a little too high with the eyebrows. Looks like it's right here. Oh yeah, it's definitely female. I can see the big eyelashes on it. Looking at bat wings really helps you get a better, like, understanding of the shape of, like, dragon wings. I know when I was learning art, there was lots of great tutorials on DeviantArt that I used to look at and reference because I found that they taught me more about how to get the anatomy down than anything I was able to do just by, like, practice. So having some form of reference really is wonderful. It gives you a lot of detail and helps you understand the way that shapes all line up, which is super vital, especially when doing any kind of art. Understand the basic shapes, circles, squares, triangles, all that kind of good stuff, and you can generally draw just about anything, which is really nice. And I'm sure you are a good artist. I'm sure you're a wonderful artist, in fact. You just have to practice. Practice is the key. The more you practice, the better you'll be. I've been drawing for over 20 years, so, you know, this is definitely not my first rodeo. Does she have a lip piercing? She do have a lip piercing. I almost missed that. And the Nightwings have that big bony thing on their cheek, so I gotta make sure I can stick that in there. Let's draw some teethers. And that one should be a little further forward. Practice, practice, practice. That is the best thing that I can advise to you. You have to practice. Nobody just gets good at art overnight. It takes a lot of work and a lot of trial and error until you can eventually get here. Okay, it looks like the ears are much more soft and round than what I sketched, so I'm gonna... Then again, that may just be a stylistic thing, I think. Yeah, looking at the other references I have, it looks like their ears are kind of normal Nightwing ear. I do indeed have a little piercing right here. So I'll make sure to keep that. And then the horns actually have a little spike, and then they curl backward. I think I'm gonna rotate that ever so slightly. Follow the contour of the head a little bit better. Good question. I think in like finding my style, it took me at least 10 years, I want to say. Around that time frame is when I started kind of learning more about how I did art and like what I wanted to do in terms of drawing my artwork. Definitely still had a lot to learn though. Like even once you find a style that feels right, there's still a lot more effort and refining that you have to put into it. And like I said, you know, I've been drawing over 20 years, but doing a comic really helped me find my style, I think. It gave me a lot of opportunity to practice with shapes that I would get more familiar with. That's definitely how I kind of found my snoot shape, because I have a very particular way that I draw dragon snoots, and creature snoots in general for that matter. Understanding muscle groups and how they all come together, that was definitely another very important fact to learn. So it takes time. It's going to be different for everybody. Some people are very fortunate in how they draw and they're able to pick things up really quickly, and then it's just a matter of like refining that. Some people it's slower. There's not really a contest for how fast you have to go with it, which is nice. You can just kind of take your own time and wait until you find the style that suits you. I just heard the beep boop of my phone. Does that be the message? Nope, it do not be the message. That's okay. Shik Shik has a tongue piercing too that I see now. I didn't catch that before on the ref. Oh, I always struggle with humans. Humans are just like impossible. Like, don't even get me started on how to draw a hand. I can barely draw a dragon hand, let alone a human hand. This looks like there's a little heart-shaped locket. Sketch that in there. Oh, I used to do that all the time when I was learning how to do digital art because I was not confident at all with my ability to use a tablet. So I would always sketch what I wanted it to look like on paper first, and then I would either take a picture and scan it, or I mean, I would take a picture and put that on the computer, or I would scan it and then trace on top of my illustration to make it digital so that way I could control the detail a lot better and I was more confident with my shapes. But over time, I started to get more and more confident in how I drew, and I think that made a big difference for me in discovering how much control I could put into my digital drawings. Again, it just does come down to practice. Practice is the key. That looks pretty pretty close to that. Let's do these big chonky arms. The shoulder blade's gonna come up like that. And then down for our elbow. Big ol' muscular arm. And then what do we got here? We've got knuckles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and thumb. We go the hand here. Beans by the looks of it, so we'll put them beans in there. And put the claws on top. I'm gonna angle that one more centered. And then it looks like there is also a ring on this finger. Thanks. I've tried Krita a couple of times, and I found that it's just kind of, like, not really my vibe. It doesn't quite work with what I liked. I do indeed read Wings of Fire. I also own every one of the books, in addition to, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 of the graphic novels, all 4 of the winglets, and I also have the Guide to Pyrrhia. And I recently picked up the coloring book as well, because I enjoy collecting all things Wings of Fire. I also have Wings of Fire OCs, so, you know, definitely not foreign territory for me. Like, I tried Krita a while back, and I don't know, there was just something about it that I couldn't seem to get the hang of it. Like, the brushes just felt weird on my hands. I tried to draw it multiple different times with things, and it just didn't quite suit the way I wanted. But, you know, it's definitely one of those things that not every program is going to be perfect for every artist, so. That is precisely what I went through with that one. Bean, claw. I think I put that thumb a little high up. It should be closer to here. Also, I'm not super fond of that angle. I think I'm gonna adjust it a little. There's a finger. Pobs. Thank you very much. Dragons are definitely my creature of obsession. I have drawn a lot of dragons in my time. Also need to chonk out the chest a little bit more than this, I think. Nightwings have very broad chests. Something about that arm just still looks kind of off. Mesh transform. When in doubt, mesh transform it out. That looks better. I think it's also relatively too small. I think that's honestly what's making it look really weird. I think if I push it up, make it just a smidge bigger. Let's see. Yeah, that looks better. I think the size, I think that was what was causing it to look really funky in my eyes. Not the first time, won't be the last, that's for sure. I'm constantly futzing and adjusting my drawings whenever I'm doing anything. Then do it. Do it. Doodle the derg. I'm probably familiar with that song, but it doesn't ring a bell. I would have to say that one of my ultimate favorite songs is To the Sky by Owl City. That is, like, always going to be one of my absolute favorite songs ever. It's just so chippy and cheery and makes me happy. My drawing my drawing program of choice is definitely Fire Alpaca. I just find I have a lot more control with it. And being that it's, you know, free, it helps a lot with just my ability to do art and not feel guilty about paying for a crazy subscription. Like, I'm super not thrilled about the fact that Adobe Substance Painter costs as much money as it does, but at the same time, I'm still going to use it because it's thus far been the most reliable program that I've been able to paint 3D models with. I've tried painting in Blender, and it's just a miserable experience. So I have no interest in trying to relearn a new program again after that. Tobies. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. Okay. This one. The thing I like about fantasy creatures like dragons is that if we want to give them beans, we can give them beans, and it's beautiful. Pretty close. I just have to make this leg a tiny bit bigger. Yeah, like that. Looks good. I'm also going to slightly rotate this kneecap. I just feel like that needs to be a little bit chonkier on that corner. And I think I'm going to decrease the foot size just a itty bit. I also have a message from my love. Thank you. My frills are because I'm actually a mermaid, which is super duper cool. But you can't see the rest of me because I'm off screen. But I can show you what the rest of me looks like if I zoom out here. Oh, wrong button. There we go. Oh, oh no, I screwed up the toggle. Hang on, which one was it? I think it's this one and this one? No, this one stays, this one goes. There we go. There we go. I knew I forgot one of the toggle buttons. See? I'm a mermaid. It's super cool. Now I have to attempt to reposition myself back where I belong. There we go. I sculpted that, and she works in VR too, which is extra super duper cool. Dippy-doo. There we go. Okay, back to Durg. Let's see. Mermaid tails are super cool and awesome. I like swimming in them and just collecting them. Although they are definitely a very expensive investment, so someday maybe I'll be able to own more, but the particular tail that you see on this model, I'm actually getting commissioned as a silicone tail from an incredible maker who goes by Dimitri Arts. And I am so excited to see what my tail is going to look like. I can't wait to try it on and swim in it. I've never owned a silicone tail before, so it's definitely going to be a very new experience. Because I'm not new to owning mermaid tails, but I've never owned a silicone one. Never thought I would either, and then opportunity came up, and I had the money, so I was like, well, now's my chance. Time to get myself a silicone tail. Okay, let's see, how does your little booty go? Okay, it has like the ice wing tail spikies. Fluff those up when I do the render. Yes, indeedly. You just gotta hold out that hope. That's the big thing with me, is for years, I never thought I'd be able to get a silicone tail. Mostly just because they're insanely expensive, and finding a maker whose style I wanted to invest, you know, like $5,000 in, that's not a small amount of money to invest in a luxury item. It's like literally buying an entire fursuit. So I had a lot of planning and a lot of budgeting to do in order to make it a possibility. This goes all the way to the end? Yes, it do. they are triangular. There we go. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy it. I just find that sketching in blue is easier on my eyes. Some artists prefer to use green, some prefer to use red. I just find that blue is just an easy color to look at, so it's easier for me to sketch in blue. One of my friends is playing Half-Life 2. How big are the thumbs? Oh, they're very chonky little thumbs. Okay. Okay, and this one would connect over there, and then it would come down here before curling back up and around like that. Let me see. Sometimes I use gray or brown. It just depends what exactly I'm sketching. I think the other reason why I chose blue for this particular one is because it's a like Ice Nightwing, so I wanted to stick with like a cold vibe, because I find like for some reason if I use a color that relates to whatever the character is that I'm sketching, I find it makes a difference in the overall piece that I produce. If that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. I remember I used to draw wings in this position all the time when I was making my comic. It's kind of funny. I miss my comic. One of these days maybe I'll pick it back up again. And also these aren't solid bones. They have like stretched membrane, so I need to soften the knuckles. Scoop. And this little membrane will go here. Yep, one of these days I would love to go back and like redo the comic even better. But it was called A Hidden World, and it sort of told Nefertiti's backstory as well as like more insight into the world with my characters and everything that they exist in. It got up to like, I think page 62 before I just gave up on it. And bear in mind as well, the whole comic was done entirely in like traditional art. Everything that I did was inked in pen, colored with colored pencil and markers. It was all traditional. You can find it on my DeviantArt. I think the URL for DeviantArt now is nefertiti.deviantart.com, and then there's a specific tab in my gallery dedicated to my comic. I started it in, I think, 2008, and then I dropped off shortly after college, so that had to have been like 2013, I want to say, 13 or 14. I just haven't picked it up since. It happens, though. You lose inspiration or motivation, and then eventually your brain is just like, I'm done, see you later. For now, I use Fire Alpaca. Like, any kind of digital drawing art that I ever do, it's Fire Alpaca. It works good and gets the job done, so that's a win-win in my books. Also, what happened to my music? It has become alivened. There we go. Apologies for my loud-ass keyboard. It do be quite loud. Okay. Let me do a thing real quick. My lovely other half has awakened and is hungry, and he wants food. So I am going to buy him a pizza because I know he likes pizza. Begone, money. Shoo. There we go. What's 3D? What'd I miss? I clearly missed something. Fingies. Because Durg hands are just a big ol' hands. And I draw the fingies. And I forget to connect the membranes. Schwink. There we go. Okie dokie. I'll be here. Here we go. And then flip. There we go. That looks pretty swell. Let me double check the character and make sure that they don't have any other like piercings or anything. I do see one little detail I missed over here. I thought these were piercings on the cheek, but they are actually markings. But this character has the silver teardrop, which means they are a Nightwing that can read minds. Piercing. Don't see any more, so I think that's it. Favorite part of making a suit? Oh geez, probably the tiny finishing details. Things like attaching small feathers or fins or sewing on like little claws or gemstone accessories or anything like that. Like little details are definitely my favorite thing to work on. But it's also a blessing and a curse because right now I'm working on a snow leopard suit for a commissioner, and oh my goodness gracious, it is taking so long to sew all these snow leopard spots, but it's going to be absolutely gorgeous by the time it's done, and I can't wait to see it when it's finished. It's going to be so pretty. Okay, I think that's all the parts then. I can't see anything else that stands out. So I think that is my sketch. Let me flip it a couple of times to make sure nothing looks weird. That tail is the only thing that's still kind of funky. It's just not quite sitting the way I want it to sit. So I'm going to capture detail like this, and then we're gonna reposition it a little bit. Oh, I should have made it bigger first and then repositioned. Otherwise it throws off the perspective. There we go. Right, now let's see. Yeah, that looks much more natural. The action line is a lot better too. Cool, looks good. I am happy with that, so I can nuke my undersketch, and then we turn down this one, and we put this one here. We're gonna call this lines. And now I'm gonna do the line work. Oh no. Let's see. I have a text from my love. What does he say? He's doing Unity stuff. There we go. Okay, now we do the hard part, which is doing the line art, because my hands shake so bad, and even though I have my stabilizer turned on, I'm still gonna end up like doing and redoing a lot of these lines. That's just how I am. I can't stay focused, I can't stay on target. Come on. Give me the right shape. Thank you. Shimmy, shimmy. I am using Fire ALPACA. It is a free software. Definitely one I would really recommend for anybody who wants to get into digital art but isn't sure where exactly to start. Great program to start with. And if you find you like it, then over time you can upgrade and get something a little bit more intense. Whoop, too much. Like constantly adjusting my line art as compared, that's the word I wanted. As compared to when I'm drawing anything like just in general sketching. It's just funny to see how different my sketch lines are to my line lines. Not sure why I do that, just always have. Also, I think I made her eyes look a little too lazy. I want more of an exuberant eye expression, so I'm gonna adjust this. There we go. That looks much better. Much more of an open, happy eye, I think. And then we do the little ears. It's kind of funny. I think after I started reading Wings of Fire, that's about when the time that I put ears on Neff, because I was just like, I like the look of the ears. I just think they look good on a lot of dragons. More ears for more dergs. That must be a little higher. I've never met Sky High in person, but we've done a collab video together, and every so often we talk, but we're definitely more of like acquaintances, just because, you know, there's a lot of distance between us, so it's kind of hard to get closer as friends when there's that big of a distance between you, especially when it comes to like meeting in person. I'm not sure when exactly I'm going to be able to go to Australia. It's not, you know, a small skip and a hop. It's a little bit of distance there, isn't it? Let's get this. Whoa, not like that. There we go. Spiky Icewing neck. And a neck that I can't seem to get the line work to sit still on. Sit. As long as I'm relatively close to my sketch, I think it's fine. It doesn't have to be one-to-one. Meow. There we go. never read Warrior Cats, but I have started collecting the books, but it's obviously a massive series, and finding the time to read a series that big is going to take a lot of time, something that I don't necessarily have a whole lot of right now. But through animatics and artwork that I've seen, I think I have a pretty good understanding of what the storyline is. Like, I can recognize Firestar anywhere. It's interesting to see how through the animation community, I've been able to learn characters and who they are just through watching animations and PMVs and stuff like that. It's just cool. There's a lot of art and content, especially animated content, around the Warrior Cats fandom. Hi, welcome in. Headshots are a great way to start. You can honestly do a lot of work with them, and it kind of helps you get a better understanding of three-dimensional shapes when you translate them to 2D art, which is fun. I am very much an artsy person. I like to do the art things. I'm gonna push that down a little bit further. Here we go. Okay, now let's get those beautiful Icewind spikies in here. I'm gonna curve that a little more. Much better. Oh, thank you very much. I think that was either a follow or a sub. I'm trying to remember what my sound settings are for the alerts. Especially because they're not appearing on screen like they're supposed to. Stinky. Wow, that's insane. Over 80 books. It's crazy. I feel like Wings of Fire has found a conclusion to the story. Like, I haven't finished reading the books, but because spoilers and stuff happen frequently, especially on things like TikTok, where people can't keep their mouths shut for 5 minutes after a book releases, I've had a lot of the ending details spoiled for me. And I'm pretty sure that it's a conclusive end to the series with the last book. I don't think that Twy plans to... Is it Twy or Twee? I think it's Twee. Doesn't plan to do any more anytime soon, or if she does, it's probably going to be like an alter arc or something, like years and years and years in the future kind of thing. It was a popular book series that she did, but I don't see it being able to go any further. It would just be the same regurgitated stories again and again, and not a lot of people are going to read those, unfortunately. Exactly. TikTok was so rude. I couldn't believe it. I hadn't even gotten a chance to sit down and watch the Elemental movie, and I really wanted to see it. And, like, the day it released in theaters, people were already posting, like, the entire movie on TikTok. And I was like, are you serious? I haven't even got a chance to watch it yet, and you guys have already spoiled the entire ending? Stupid. There was actually 2 shows planned for Wings of Fire. Netflix was supposed to pick up one that was going to be animated kind of similar to how Vox Machina was animated, but that ended up getting dead in the water. Couldn't reach the funding, and it didn't go any further. And then there was another one that was going to be 3D animated that Netflix was going to make a Netflix original, and I'm so glad that one didn't get picked up because the story was nothing like the character books at all. Like, it had nothing to do with it. I got to look at the synopsis of what the story was going to be, and it was supposed to be like, instead of following the Dragonets of Destiny, it was going to follow this rando character who we've never met before, And it was a story of like, oh no, he's the outcast and nobody likes him. But he's also got animus powers, and he's like a legendary incarnation of something, and he's gonna travel to find the magical MacGuffin to stop the end of the world or whatever. And it was like, that's the same fucking story that we've seen time and time and time again. Like, just disappointing. Wish Netflix would run with their original ideas and stop just regurgitating the same content over and over again. Get tired of watching the same kind of content. I say as I watch the same YouTuber videos again and again and again because they're funny and I enjoy funny haha. Yeah, I definitely feel like if they ever do adapt Wings of Fire into any kind of animated thing, I think it would do far better as a series rather than a movie, because trying to condense all those books into a singular movie, you're gonna end up with something that just doesn't make any sense and it feels awfully rushed, like the Inkheart movie did. I don't know if you ever read the Inkheart book, or even worse, if you read the Dragon Rider book and then you saw Netflix's Dragon Rider movie, oh my god, it was horrendous. I don't do like movie review kind of things on my channel, but that one alone, I wanted to do a review for that just because Dragon Rider and Cornelia Funk's writing was such a strong thing in my childhood growing up, and I was so disappointed in the what did they even call it? Was it Dragon Rider, or did they call it like Fire Drake or something? I think they called it Fire Drake. I don't remember, but it was stupid, it was dumb, and I hated it, and it makes me angry, so I want to make like a review rant about it at some point, but bah, I don't know. I don't even know if that's something people would watch on my channel, if they're just like, nah, do the art things. We're not interested in gaming or anything else, just do art. I don't even know anymore. Lines, lines, please. There we go. I'm getting better at doing knuckles on dragons. Still not quite where I want to be with my art style. I feel like there's still a bit more I could learn to get better at them, but it's better than what I started with, so it's progress. Club. And then to the elbow, and up we go. Very nice. Oh, get out of there. There you go. I don't really watch furry YouTubers anymore. Like, I used to quite significantly, and then there just came a point where I just, like, I stopped watching them, and I haven't really done so since. Like, every so often I'll watch Pokari Roo, and obviously fursuit makers like Sky High and Mugiwara, but other than that, not really. Furry YouTube had its, like, its heyday, and now it's just kind of everybody doing the exact same thing, so I kind of lose interest in watching the same repeated content again and again. Especially clickbaity stuff. I can't stand clickbait content. That's always how I've been. I prefer to be the sunflower in the field of tulips. Kneecap. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Ooh, that'll be neat. If it ever releases, granted. I mean, Telephone doesn't really make videos anymore. She does live streams, but not really as Telephone. She does them as SkyPro Eno doing fursuit stuff. So I think my inner toe is a little big on this sketch. I'm gonna squeeze this little guy in. He just looked a little funky there. Apparently. I know my nephew is obsessed with it. To the point where now he talks like YouTubers talk, and it's like that really annoying, oh my god, you guys, you're never gonna believe what we found in Fundy's basement. It's crazy, guys. Click right now because you just can't believe it. And it's like, oh my god, that's so annoying. I can't stand that content. I do it unironically sometimes. And even then, I feel ick afterward. I'm like, ew. Did I just do the YouTuber thing? Yeah, I got to listen to my nephew share a lot about that. Took the family to Universal Studios over the weekend, and nephew would rather play on the iPad than play at Universal Studios, so it was a fun experience of listening to him narrate his Roblox games. But he's 5, so, you know, I guess that should be expected. Oopsie daisy. And then we do more of these ice wingy spikes. Oh, get out of there. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to use my guided path tool for this because the tail is always one of those lines. The tail and the wing fingers. I have to use the guided path tool because I cannot control my hand shaking in order to do a line this long. Sucks, but it comes with carpal tunnel. Shush phone. And shovel ammo. I know I'm gonna have to smooth the end of the tail a little bit. Those lines are always kind of scratchy where they connect. Oh, and then I forgot one. I need to use one here. There we go. Yeah, the amount of obsession that kids have with iPads is kind of crazy. Ugh, I gotta stretch my hand for a second. Alright, back to foot. Whoops. God dang, I said foot, not cankle here. There we go. Damn. Could not get that, like, line to go the angle I wanted. Get out of there. Dubbings. Yeah, I like that one better. I think that suits it more closely to what I was going for. It is currently 1 o'clock for me, which reminds me. Let me check a thing real quick, because I'm pretty sure it's already started. Moving it back by 1 hour. Okay. So it looks like I've still got an hour. Okay, good. I might stream the game. We'll see how it goes. I don't really do streaming content very often. If I do, I'll probably like end this stream and then boot another one just so that they're not like two mungo combined streams. Tubbins. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and connect this membrane down here. One of these days, I want to sit down and live stream playing, like, the Elder Scrolls, because I've been on, like, a weird kick lately of watching videos of people playing Oblivion, and it's made me really nostalgic to try playing it again. It's been so long since I played Oblivion. I just think it'd be fun. Plus, it gives me the opportunity to do something silly with my avatar. I want to put, like, old school Oblivion armor on her and have her look ridiculous because I think it'd be funny looking. Oblivion? It's the 4th Elder Scrolls game. Elder Scrolls is like one of my top 3 favorite game series of all time. But I just don't do game streams very often or gaming content on my channel, so it feels like kind of a weird departure from the content that a lot of people are here for. And I don't want people to be bored. That wasn't at all close to where I needed that line to go. Oh my god, hand, please. Cooperate with me. There we go. Just had to give it the old 1-2. Yeah, that's usually when you know that they're slightly addicted to it, when they cry constantly when it gets taken away. Also, thank you, but I don't think I'm anywhere near being a perfectionist when it comes to drawing. There's still a lot of practice and things that I haven't learned how to do yet. It's the first Artfight drawing I've done that has, like, this much detail. I haven't done any full body drawings yet. There we go. And then we get our little clob up here. I'm gonna contour that a little smoother. There we go. Well, why you hunting me down? That seems kind of silly. I don't so much have to let my hands relax, but it's like I get stiff-handed after a while because I'm so intently focused on what I'm doing. And it affects my ability to draw my lines the way I want to. So I have to kind of like rest and flex my fingers for a minute once I've had my grip on my pen for so long. What praise did I miss? Oh, never mind. It was the perfection comment. That's right. Meow. I miss comments for processing in my brain, and then, like, after I've said the thing, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what they were talking about. Duh. Dingus. Forgets today, Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh, it's Wednesday. Uh-huh. It's a Wednesday. That means I can get my favorite sushi for dinner. Yes. It's good stuff. I want to get that tonight. And then sometime later this week, I'm going to go into Vegas for a trip to pick up some materials, and then I'm going to get ramen, because I love ramen. It's so, so good. And there's nowhere out here that does good ramen. Problem of living in a tiny little town. You have to go all the way to Vegas just to get the good stuff. Make me sad. I'm probably not the best person to ask in terms of like tips for comics because mine was just everywhere. But when you look at some of the pages, you can kind of see things, which I need to save because I haven't done so once. And that is dangerous. Let me... Fire ALPACA. Where be my MDP files? And... save. There we go. Show y'all kind of what I'm talking about. Where is it? Blah. Where did I save it? I think it's this folder? Maybe? Yes, it is. Okay, so for example, to show y'all what I'm talking about, this is the first page of my comic, and you can see a lot of it has changed. Like, it went through a very massive update over time, but this was started in about 2008. And when I started it, this was what it looked like. It's all colored pencil, and my anatomy is just grotesque. Like, there's gonna be doubles of a lot of these because I tried to clean them up for DeviantArt, but like, this is how I used to draw back in 2008. This is where I started. This is where I am now. Like, you evolve and grow the more you practice. To think that that and that are the same artist is bonkers. Like, it just still blows my mind. 2008? Oh geez, I'm terrible at math. Let me think. I would have been middle school. That would have been like 6th grade, I think. 6th or 7th grade, I think. I don't know, maybe 13, I think, if my math is correct. Well, my main character, Nefertiti, she has kind of gone through a lot of evolution over the years, but she's always just been a Western dragon. She just happens to have feathered wings, because I liked feathery wings and I thought that they were unique and cool. Also, the one that I'm drawing, this is an Artfight challenge for someone else's character, and I think it's a Icewing Nightwing, because it has the Nightwing teardrops on its eyes, but it definitely has Icewing spikes, so I'm pretty sure it's a hybrid. But if I can pull up, let me see. Is there no way to? Ah, there we go. Okay, let me see. Where is one of the later pages? This one. This is 2000. What's my timestamp? 2012 is what this one is. So the art got significantly better form. I went through this weird phase where like all of my dragon snoots got progressively shorter and shorter and shorter, and it looked ridiculous, and I have no idea why. But this was one of the old pages from like 2012 or 2013, I can't remember. No, couldn't have been that long. It had to have been like 2010, I think. I don't remember. It's dated on DeviantArt. DeviantArt knows the truth. But then it goes and goes and goes and goes, and then we get to some of the later pages. This is like 2011, 2012, where there's even more detail. Shapes are much more defined. Shading is cleaner. Lighting looks better. Panel composition gets a lot better. Just a lot of progression. And then we get even further down the line where, which page is it? This one? I was getting better at like doing scenes so that there's a lot more visually to look at. It feels more like a comic page here. And it goes from there. But this was like the second to last page that I ever did. There's a couple more pages that are kind of spoilery, but I guess it really doesn't matter at this point because this comic's been out since like 2008, so. This was the last page that I finished, and I honestly don't know if I'm ever going to pick it up again. Maybe someday I will, I don't know. I feel like the whole story just needs a rework because I rushed so badly to get to this point in the comic. But the art progression from the last page around 2012 or 2013, I think, versus the very first page, which, to remind everybody, 2012, 2013 versus page 1, 2008. Your art will grow the more you practice and the better you get. So don't give up just because you can't draw like this right off the bat. Like, it is going to take time. It is going to take practice and energy in order for you to get to this kind of a stage. It's a very long process, so don't get deterred just because you can't do it right the way you want to. You have to build your way up to it. Oh, I have many, many characters. Like, it's almost an addiction at this point. Every time I see an adoptable, I have to, like, put the grabby hands away because I'm like, oh my god, I absolutely need this adopt. I need it right now, so bad. Please, give me my adoptable, please. I need it. But I need to stop adopting them because I got too many. Oh yeah, like the comic, I've kept all the characters in it. I still own all of them. The story mostly follows Nefertiti, but there's a few other main characters in the comic that are still around. I did a video not too long ago here on YouTube where I redrew one of the main characters because his design desperately needed an update. And that was Nero. There's also Shinito, Karakamuni, Amaya, Nokata. The arch-villain of the series is Dragon and Sorceress. And then we have the little human character whose name is Cody. It's just lot of characters that make appearances in there, as well as like a couple cameos from other people that won like contests and Kiribans back in the day, if you remember Kiribans. A lot of fun stuff that I did. I enjoyed working on the comic when I had the time to work on it, but as I became more and more of an adult, I started having less and less time to work on the comic, and then eventually it just came to the understanding that I was like, yeah, I do not have the time to work on this comic anymore, so unfortunately I had to just end it there, and unceremoniously it kind of got dropped off dead in the water. But there was a plan years ago where I was gonna do, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Blaze the Fire Dragon, or I guess they changed their name now to Blaze Animates, but they did this really cool series that I love, and there's like a whole genre of YouTube stuff that I can never get enough of, and it's like graphic storytelling using images that slightly move on screen. And it's not really animated per se, but sometimes they'll lip sync a character, or they'll do like a tweening frame or something, but they're like partially animated, kind of like a graphic novel. And all the characters' scenes and interactions are fully voice acted by other people, and I adore those kind of things. I wanted to make one so bad that I ended up hosting like auditions for people, so that way they could basically try to audition to be one of the characters in the comic. They would have lines that they would have to practice and send in, and I was going to do basically that same thing for my comic when I redid everything. But I never followed through with it. I tried. I got as far as doing a couple concept frames for the intro of it, and then I just kind of dropped off the face of the earth and started doing more fursuit commissions and stuff, and they ate up all my time, so I haven't been able to do anything since. But maybe one of these days I'll pick it back up again. It's something I'd like to maybe start like a Patreon fund for, is like if we achieve a certain Patreon goal, I'll pick up the comic again. But I'm so far behind with Patreon stuff that I don't want to add any new goals to it until I get caught up with my current things. So someday maybe, but that day will not come anytime soon. How did I get on this tangent? I don't even remember. I think I started talking about Oblivion and nostalgia, and then we got on my comic, and now I'm just... here I am. My brain can't stay focused for more than 20 seconds at a time before I have to jump to a different conversation. Pretty sure there's a word for that called ADHD, but I am undiagnosed, so I don't know. Be sure you tell your kitty I say hi back. I adore kitties. See, that's also the funny thing too, is Nefertiti has never been my Sona, and still to this day isn't a Sona. She's something different. She's known as a moniker. A moniker is basically like an identity. Sometimes a moniker is a Sona, but not always. It's kind of like, think about a YouTuber like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is not like his fursona, it's not his character, it's not his real name, it's just, that's what people know him by, that's what they recognize his content by. Or like Markiplier. Markiplier is his moniker, but it's not technically his real name, and it's not like a character per se. So it's not like a personification of himself, but it is what people recognize his name by. And that's what Nefertiti is for me. She has been and always will remain a moniker. Because I don't feel she is me. I don't feel she's like a definition of me. We don't really share any personality traits or anything like that. As Sonas normally do, they usually share some kind of aspect of you, but she just doesn't really have that. She's just kind of things I wish I could be, things I aspire to be, but I know I can never achieve. Both for physical reasons and just mental blockades that I can't overcome. I have recently, however, in addition to Winza and Kashika being my first sonas, I added a true sona to my altar of people. And my true sona is the character that you see me wearing right now for this VTuber thing. This is Venora. And Venora is a sea sky dragon, so she is kind of cool because she embodies both of the things I love. She's got fins like a mermaid and can shift between a sea form when she's all finned and swimmy, and then she also has a sky form where all her fins become feathers, and then she can fly into sky with wings, because I think that's really, really cool, and it fits both of my things of loving mermaids and feather critters, so win-win. Venora also has all of my personal aspects, such as, like, even the shape of this character's face, the color of my eyes, the long hair, the color of the hair. There's even scars that I painted on this model that I have in real life, body imperfections that I have, just all kinds of little details like that I put into this model because I wanted it to look as much like me as I could physically make it look. I'd like to do a video at some point talking about like the difference between Monikers, sonas, and true sonas, because I think that would be really fun. Good and informative too. Can't reach the edge. Upsy daisy we go. Doodly doo. Oh, sorry. I cracked my neck. It's getting stiff. Okay, got almost 30 minutes. I'm still good on time. Not there. There we go. Zoom out just a little itty bit here so I can get the little stretchy membranes in the armpits and whatnot. And save because it's been a while. Yeah, you gotta be real careful with hot glue guns. They are no joke. They'll mess you up. Whoops. Actually, that would be an inside curl because this is the outside of the wing. Oh my goodness, there's a kitty cat jumping on my lap. Hi, my son. You gotta come around, little buddy. I can't reach you when you're all the way over there. My son, come here. Come here, my son! There he is! I need to make like a little prop I can toggle on when one of my cats joins me. That's a good boy. He my little old man. He's 15 years old. I love my Kiki. He's a sweet boy. You're just the sweetest of babies. Yeah. He's also purring like the dickens right now. Yeah, if you raise them right and give them lots of love, they'll live a long time. I definitely know my old men are both getting up there in their years, though. And they're showing it. Their mama is not ready for the day when I'm going to have to say goodbye. So I'm going to spend every moment I can with them until that time comes, because I love them and they are my sons. Mwah. Oh, you got little babies. 1-year-olds. I have a young little baby cat. He's currently staying with a friend of mine because he's acting kind of like as a companion for him because he lives alone and I worry about him, so that kitty is gonna stay with him for a while until I know for certain that he'll be safe and he won't try to do anything. But when that time comes that he eventually moves into a retirement home or something, then I'm gonna bring that little kitty home with me. Oh, I'm sorry, was my kneecap not comfortable enough for you? You had to leave? I see how it is. Cats are so funny when they do the offensive side-eye. Okie dokie. Well, thank you for joining as long as you did. It was a pleasure having you here. I'm sure I'll see you around. I'm glad this VTuber doesn't track my face because you guys would see my eyebrows like squinting whenever I do a concentrated line. Oh, I knew I forgot a part. Forgot the rest of the butt spikes. How could I forget the rest of the butt spikes? Oh, I also forgot a little pressure point fold right there. And there should technically be a little bit of a pressure point fold in these corners as well. That looks pretty swanky. Let me hide my sketch, save. Alright, and now we're going to grab this one, and I'm going to select everything that isn't the body. Should be all of it, because I try to keep most of my lines connected, so I think that's all of it. Inverse, contract by 1 pixel. And then we're going to grab the main body color, which looks like this black. And fill. And then I'm also going to expand my selection by let's do 10 and see if that's big enough. Oh yeah. 10 almost feels too big. I think I'm gonna reduce that down to 6. Yeah, 6 looks better. Also, I don't know how I managed it. I turned off my top. How did I do that? I must have hit the 1 key at some point by accident or something. Let's put it here. Bwamp. Now I can deselect, and then I want to make a new layer and clipping layer. And we're gonna call this Navy. And here's where I have to zoom all the way in so I can see. And I see a spot I missed right there. Oops, not that one. This one. That little piercing. That should stay right there. Make sure I have my right brush. Yep, dragon with the toe beans. Because we can. Okay. Let's see. We look like we've got a snoot stripe that goes mostly up the front of the face. And then... is there any on the back of the horn? No. I am gonna have to come in and clean up in between these little spikies though. My fill tool could never quite get those fully clean. There's always like a little bit that just gets stuck in between the lines, but thankfully it's easy enough to fix. Okay, and this looks like it divides along the back of the neck here. How far down the shoulder does it go? It just barely dips in across the top half of the shoulder, so like right here. And it looks like it goes all the way over here. Like this. So then this would be the same right there. And I think the whole wing is all that blue color. I am using an app called Fire ALPACA. It is free, which is my favorite word. Not really. My favorite word is kerfuffle, but free is still good. Shimmy, shimmy. This doesn't have to be super clean. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that was silenced. Thank you. Although she's not PNG, she's fully 3D. Like, she is, how do I do this? Is it alt? Yeah. She is, she's 3D. She's a 3D model. So... There we go, now she's positioned right again. I did indeed make that. There we go. Need a nice big fat brush to fill in all this. Shimmy over here and fill in that one. And fill that one. And fill that one. I did all the sculpting and edits for this model in Blender. The base body is the Tori base, and then I believe I picked Starchild's head, did a couple modifications to the overall shape of it to make it fit my head a little bit better. Can't remember the name of the hair asset off the top of my head, but I know it's Bisaki, I think is their name. And then the fins and stuff that are on her, I sculpted myself in Blender. Did all the rigging, all the weight painting, all the UV mapping, textured it in Substance, put it into Unity, and then just did all the shader programming and stuff. So that way, if I don't feel like being a mermaid, I can just toggle it off. And then I have cute little elf ears, which are really cute. But I like my fins. So fins go back on. Yes, good stuff. I'm not exactly using VR. I'm using an app called VC Face, which basically is like using my little webcam to track my face so that it can tell when I'm talking and when I'm like blinking and stuff. I can't do like really advanced face tracking yet, but I'm working on eventually upgrading to it. I just need a much stronger camera to better track my facial expressions. Because this model has tons of face tracking options. It's just a pain in the butt to set up, so I'm like, bleh, I'll do it later. I try to notice everybody in my chat as much as I can. Because I know what it feels like. And I gotta zoom out because I can't see where the butt is. Oh, it's over there. Okay, so it looks like it goes to about there. And then I'm just gonna clean up that little stripe. Is there any at the tip of the tail? There is not. Okay. I'll do the next color, which is a blue-gray. And it looks like it's mostly on the face. Top of the eye, and then a little bit spills onto the horn. Now we see, is this blue-gray anywhere else? By all means, go to sleep. If you're tired, get some rest. I'm just gonna be sitting here doing work and stuff until I probably get most of the flat color done for this character, because I despise shading more than anything. Like, I hate shading. If I can't do it, then fantastic, because bleh. But it's my least favorite thing to do, but I feel like this piece especially I should shade. Just gotta check and make sure that there's no more of this blue-gray anywhere else. I don't think there is, though. I think it's just a one oddball color on the face. Yep. That's it. Okie dokie then. I will grab the next one, which is the white. And I'm gonna itch my face because I have an itch on my chin. Alright, let's see. This goes up and over the nostrils, and then trails along the side of the face here. Goes up. And then it's like 1, 2. Like that. And then there's also 2 little dots, which that dot should technically be distorted from the smile, so it should look like that. Like that. And then this fills in all these little spaces as I proceed to color over the lines. No, this is actually somebody else's character because I am doing Artfight. So this is their character named Tempest, and I wanted to attack them, so I am doodling their character. Although at this stage it's significantly more than a doodle, so, you know, here we are. We're doing art. Let me see, it looks like the horns and the spiky crest are both the same color. Although I might offset the horns with like a slightly different ivory. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I colored over the tip of the ear again. I am on werewolf, but friendly fire is always a thing. The only thing about friendly fire is I don't think you get points for it, but I never went into this wanting to get the points anyway. I just enjoy drawing people's characters because I think it's fun. And I didn't get to really participate in Artfight the previous year for a couple of different reasons, so this gives me a better opportunity to do so, which is very nice. So to give the quick version of what Artfight is, because I've explained it before in stream, it's basically a free thing that happens every July that is hosted on a website called artfight.net. You get to pick your team. Usually the teams have like some sort of theme. Like the theme last year was gloom and bloom, so it was like rot and life, which is really nice. And the whole idea is that you pick your team, and to attack the other team, you look through their gallery, you pick a character that they own, and then you draw their character or make an art sculpture of their character or a VR model or a plushie or an animation or just like any kind of thing that you can produce. That is considered an attack on their character, which earns points for your team if you attack the enemy team. The enemy can also revenge by drawing your character again, or vice versa. If they attack you by drawing your character, you can revenge them, which is what I'm doing here. I'm doing a revenge because they drew one of mine, so now I'm drawing one of theirs. And it's just kind of fun to draw people's characters, and it's a fun little game that we do. Like, it's all fun, lighthearted stuff. The only thing that I really advise to new people who've never done it before: do not join Artfight specifically to try and get other big artists especially to attack you with art, because it's very rude, first of all, to always expect something back. Like, nobody has the kind of time to do every single one, especially with like this kind of level of detail. Like, this takes ages to do something like this. So you have to do it just because you want to do it and because it's fun, not because you're expecting something in return. That's the best mindset to go into it with. And at the end of July, they tally the points and see which team was the winner, which team got the most points for attacks. Oh yeah, you're right, it is 20%, that's right. I forgot. We love lurkers. You can still join. Anybody's welcome to join at any time. It goes until the end of July, so feel free to check it out. Artfight.net. All the information and stuff is on the website. This year's theme is vampires versus werewolves, and I'm on Team Werewolf. It's just overall a fun experience. Even if you only managed to get one piece in, you still had fun and participated, right? The first year that I joined, I think I didn't get a single piece done. Second year I managed to get 3, but they were just really small, like chibi sketches and stuff. Nothing really complex like this. But this year I'm really trying to go all out and do a lot of different attacks, as well as varying what I do. So for some I've done sketches, some I've done full bodies, some I've done like shaded illustrations, I did a badge, I did VR models. I'm currently working on a couple of attacks that are going to be bonkers because I'm doing plushies for a couple of characters. So it's just like, you know, whatever comes to mind, whatever I'm inspired to do when I start looking at the characters in the roster that I'm going to send my own attacks out against. There's also a couple that are very daunting because of how detailed they are. I'm like, oh jeez. I love looking at details, and I love making detailed stuff because I feel it reflects my style really good. But oh geez, it's gonna take so long. But I kinda knew that was gonna be a thing, so surprise, surprise. Let's fill in that little belly. Technically, at this stage, I think if I use my tolerance, I should be able to... Oh, it helps if I use canvas, doesn't it? There we go. Oh yeah, the tolerance is doing pretty good. It's maintaining. I will use this then, because this is much faster. Once you get down to these little spots, that's when it starts to get very tedious. There we go. And then we grab a pen, make it smaller because I'm way too big, and I can fill in the more detailed areas manually. Big brain. I did indeed make my model. Thank you very much. Alrighty, Rudy. Let's see. Oh, missed a spot right there. As I proceed to color over top of the leg. Alright, now let's see what your arm looks like. Okay, it's like there's two big stripies here. One, and then the second one goes right underneath it, like this. Look, too much. I believe it is an Ice Nightwing, especially because it has the teardrop scales under the eyes, which means it's also a mind reader. Exactly. See, that's also why I like Artfight, because you can really fight your art block immensely by just doing this. I'm gonna itch my eyeball. There we go. What, like the model as commissions? Because yes, I do offer VR and VTuber models as commission work. Obviously, the more complex your model, the more expensive it's going to be. And because you're new to the stream, you haven't seen it yet, so I'll take a second to show you. My model is a little bit more than just what you see here. I actually have an entire tail that is off screen that you can't see. And my tail wiggles, which is very nice. But I am a full mermaid, which is awesome. Zoom back in. There we go. Thank you. You should see it in VR, at least even cooler in virtual reality. I have a lot more controls with it there than I do anywhere else. This looks like it goes like a swoosh and then around the elbow. And a swoosh and around the elbow. The white goes all the way to the tippy tips. Yep, all the way to the tippy tips. color. Filling in all the little spots. I can't say I am familiar with that. I've actually done live streams as well for, like, when I do VR model stuff. That's what I was going to be doing this time, but I desperately need to upgrade my CPU because it is just struggling so hard when I try to do Substance Painter stuff. So, unfortunately, that stream failed, and instead now I'm just working on one of the Artfight attacks that I was starting to do. Well, it depends, really. Like, I'd say if you're getting a full VR/VTuber model from me, the average that you're going to pay if I'm customizing a base is going to be around 180. But if I'm having to do an entirely fresh, brand new sculpt from scratch, then it's upwards of like $500 to $800 because that's going to take a lot more time to produce. So definitely kind of debatable there for what exactly you want to do. The amount of times I've found like a fursuit fuzzball on my leg and I think it's a spider and I jump is hilariously frequent. Like, it should not be nearly as frequent as it is. No, Mystic, I do not know what that is, sorry. You can find the prices for work like this on my website, artbynefertiti.com/retextures, and that'll give you specifically my VR prices. Like the dots trail the entire neck. They also go down the side of the torso by the looks of it. One, two, three, four of these little swooshies. One, two. Looks like number 3 is a big boy. And then number 4 is very long. Just below the kneecap is where this part connects. Scroll down, make sure. Yep, whole foot. Okie dokie. And then we shimmy up here and we fill in the rest of the foot. And then we put all the little dots that trail the tail. Too close. They go all the way to the tip? Yes, they do. Yep, definitely gotta save up for the luxury items. I mean, the face tracking portion took significantly less time because all I really had to do was just use the blend shapes that were already on the avatar and pair them. But granted, my face tracking isn't phenomenal. Like, it can really only detect when I'm talking and blinking. In order to do any of, like, my facial expressions like these, I have specialized key toggles that I just hit the key toggle to use the face, and then it sets it off. As well as, like, my other toggles. Like, if I wanted to, I can make my fins go away. Thank you for the sub. And then I have just little elf ears instead, but I like my mermaid fins, so I'm gonna keep them. But the face tracking was easy. The blender and the texturing and the Unity work, that, on the other hand, was significantly harder to do. And this should technically taper down much smoother. Do they have any other spots? Looks like these little horns are also that color. And I spooged over the edge a little bit. Shimmy, shimmy. So close to being done. I just have to fill in these last couple of little details and then paint the interior of the wings, and then this flat color will be done. And then I'm probably gonna end the stream because I wanna take a break and get food and stuff. Food is good. Keeps the body alive, you know? Kind of important. I draw good because I have spent 20 years practicing. That's like, honestly, the best thing I can tell you is just a lot of time. Practice is where it comes from. Favorite food? Probably anything with salmon in it. I could eat salmon literally any day and every day and I'd never get sick of it. Most fish in general I could eat day after day and not get sick of. I love fish. It's good food. And good for ya. That's even better. Oops, I went outside the edge a little bit. I will clean that up. Too much. It is indeed a Wings of Fire OC, and by the looks of it, I believe it is a Nightwing slash Ace Wing, because I see aspects of both. But it is not my character. So I can't say with absolute certainty that that is correct. Coloring the beans. I forget, are the toe claws white as well? Yes, they are. Okay. I had to double check that for a second. I was like, I don't remember seeing the toe claws. Okay, there's all our little beans. The eyes, I know, are sky blue. So I'm gonna put, excuse me, I said sky blue, thank you. Put that sky blue in there. And then while I'm at it, I should probably put the edge highlight in here as well. And then we'll put the jewelry color on, which I forgot. Jewelry color. And then I think the spikes, yeah, they have like a tiny little tidbit of blue on the tip. So we're just gonna gently brush that blue. Gentle, gentle. I'm probably gonna have to come in and clean up the footsies, but that's okay. I knew I was going to have to do that when I first started, because I goobered them. Okay, now we just take this little guy. I'll have to redo that beam, but that's okay. I don't know, it really depends on the fursuit. Like, sometimes I can finish one within like a week, other times it takes me probably close to, I don't know, like 9 months. Really depends on the design of the character, how much detail they have, if there's any like oddball parts that I have to factor in. Why is this looking weird? There we go. Okay. Now we get to do the purdy part. So I'm going to pull this over here, and then we're going to make a new layer. And we're going to turn off the base for this because it's going to make it significantly faster if I do it that way. Save before I do it, always. And then we fill in all these little areas. There's one right there that's hiding. All the membranes. And then that one doesn't get filled because that's part of the other one. It's part of the top. There we go. Now I can turn that back on. Oh, yeah. Whoops, I forgot to fill in the rest of that. I forgore. There we go. Alrighty. Let's call this wings and clipping mask. And then we zoom in and double check that I got all the little futzy areas, which I don't know how I managed this. I appear to have missed part of the hand quite significantly. Not sure how. Good old dingle darned us out here. Okay, I got the other hand right. I did not. How dare I? Probably because it was on the wing, I just didn't spot it. There we go. Okay. Wings, protect, and then it looks like we have some coloring to do. Okay. I'll lay down the rough color first. Doodle all the dergs. We love to see doodly dergs. Okay, now I need one of my oil brushes. Let's see. Maybe watercolor. Watercolor might work. Either that or opaque watercolor. That might work. Oh yeah, opaque watercolor's the one. Let me make it smaller. Just get all kinds of cool blending going on. It's possible, if not Northern Lights, that it's got to be something else kind of cool looking. Okay, where is the one I want? I thought it was an oil brush. Maybe it was my crayon brush. No, it's not the crayon one. Which one was it? Maybe it was Paint Daub. Oh, you know what? It might actually be Paint Daub. Yep. There it is. That's the one that has the spacklies in it. Blue, of which it's blending too much, so I'm gonna have to probably touch up that spot before I can put it in. Okay, now I can grab Paint Daub. Where'd it go? I'm blind. There it is. Now we can put that in, because that'll blend out the base. Okay, and now I'm going to try to do an effect. Let's see if I can use this one. I think I'm gonna dupe it first, just in case. Like that, and then soft light? Nah, go brighter with it, I think. Dodge. Dodge is a little intense. Maybe hard light? Hard light kind of works. Dupe it. I have to turn the clipping off, otherwise it won't let me do it. And then we'll make this one. Add, and then just turn it down real low. And then I get my Purdy brush. Where is it? This one. And we put some little sparkle stars in there. love adding sparkles to literally everything. The best advice I can give you for that is to look at pictures of bats, because bats have basically the exact same structure as dragon wings. They're just very long arms with fingers. So I recommend looking at that, because that'll give you kind of what you want. And I also just realized I can't merge that yet, because I didn't do the smudging. This one. Whoa, that needs to be way bigger. There we go. I don't like that one. I want more of the purple in there. There we go. Now I can merge my stars. Let me zoom in and do this little part first, because I always kind of add like pseudo shading to my eyes before I do anything else. I just think it makes everything look a little bit prettier. Oh, and I forgot what's on the line there. There we go. Thank you very much. Add some little highlights to the jewelry so it looks more like jewelry. Cool. I think that looks pretty good so far. I have to do all the shading and stuff, which I'm not really looking forward to, so... Ugh. Oh, I am a big fat fib. I forgot to do the necklace. How dare I? Just spotted it when I zoomed out. Fill that in. And then we add some highlights to make it look more like shiny metal. Get out of there. There we go. Now the flat colors are done. Alright, let me turn off the bibby. Okie dokie. I think that's gonna do it for now, just because shading is gonna take 200 times as long when I go to do this, so I'm not necessarily looking forward to doing it, but I also need food, and I want to talk to my other half, so I'm going to call the stream here. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Sorry it wasn't what the stream initially advertised. I'll update the thumbnail to look like this so that hopefully people rewatching the stream will see that it's supposed to be it's supposed to be Substance Painter, but it ended up being drawing instead. So thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and until next time, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day and a fantastic life.